All right, here we go. We're getting things back set up for part 2 of our Status Pro Advanced Baseball World Series 1970 Game 1, Baltimore Orioles, Cincinnati Reds. This is part 2, so if you haven't watched part 1, I highly recommend you watch part 1 before we talk about what had happened in part 1. So, without further ado, let's talk about our first part of the game. We got through 3 innings. So we're going to pick that game up in the top of the 4th inning. And here's the lineups for the teams. Nothing happened in the first inning. The second inning, as you can see, Cincinnati got 5 runs on 6 hits? 5 hits. 5 hits. So it started off with Lee May's single, and then a line out to first, then another single, then a double, then a fly out to center field by Gary Nolan, then a walk to Pete Rose, another single by Bobby Tolan, and then a big 2-run RBI double by Tony Perez, and then Johnny Bench ground out to short to end the inning. But on the play, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs scored. In the top of the 3rd inning, lead it off, Davey Johnson went deep for a home run. So we're going to pick the game up right here, top of 4. If you're looking at our setup and what we're doing here and what these little charts and everything represent, check out the beginning of the episode there, part 1. Jim Palmer's got a 6 strength rate and 13 for Gary Nolan. So, not sure how much longer Palmer is going to be in the game, but we shall see. They left him in the 3rd inning, and he got a 1-2-3 inning, so much better than the 2nd inning. So, leading off the top of the lineup here for the O's in the top of the 4th inning, Don Buford grounded to first in the 1st inning. So we're going to be looking for a BD number. We also have some different ratings. You notice for Gary Nolan here, who's the home pitcher, against lefties, he's normally a 2-7. In this case, he's a 2-6. Against righties, he's normally a 4-7. He's down to a 2-5. That's because both pitchers rolled a bad result when they came into the game, lowering their stats as opposed to increasing their stats. So anyways, we are here in Riverfront Stadium, October 10th, 1970. We're in the 4th inning, and let's get things going. So first thing first, we're looking for the BD number here to find out where it's going. It's a 2 against the left-hander. Is 2-6, so it's going to come off of Gary Nolan's card. We look at the number. It's a 73. That's an out. What kind of out is it? He is a LP. So we're going to look at this section. LP is an F8. Is there an error? No error. So I'm going to try and remember to do that from now on. It's going to be an F8 out. Brings up Paul Blair. Made a fine defensive play in the 3rd inning. Al, Red Sox fan, is in the house. Welcome, welcome. We're actually picking this up. I know you're just joining me. We're picking this up. I ran this earlier and then took a little break, and we're continuing this. This is World Series Game number 1, October 10th, 1970. The Baltimore Orioles versus the Cincinnati Reds, 1970 World Series Game number 1. The Big Reds got 5 runs in the 2nd inning. Top of the 3rd inning, Davey Johnson hit himself a home run to lead off the inning. So it's a 5-1 score here in the top of the 4th with 1 away. We're moving on to Paul Blair here. So Paul Blair. And one of the cool things I like about Status Pro Baseball Advanced here, you can download everything that I have here for free. You can go to their Facebook page, Status Pro Advance. You can download the file section. They'll download all the different rules. You can even download these teams for free to try it out, see if you like it or not, plus the fast action cards and everything. One of the things that you do in the beginning of the game is you roll for each pitcher to find out if they have a normal day, a good day, or a bad day. And for both of our pitchers, for Gary Nolan and Jim Palmer, they both rolled bad days. So their stats, Jim Palmer's stats went down by 1 rating. So instead of a 2 to 7 for left-handers, he's actually a 4 to 7. And against right-handers, instead of 4 to 7, he's 2 to 6. For Gary Nolan, he rolled a double bad result, so his stats are, instead of 2 to 7, he's all the way down to 2 to 6. And instead of a 4 to 7, he's a right-hander, he's a 2 to 5. So quite some offensive stats going on because the pitchers are having rolled bad stats. So a lot of results are coming off the batter's card so far. Anyways, that brings up Paul Blair, who... What did he do in the first inning? What did he do? I think he had a 3. Oh, yes, he had a special bad time for both to have to bad rolls. Yep, that's right. Every time you bring a pitcher in the game, I'll show you the rule here, Status Pro here. If we scroll down here, again, you can get the rule book for free. Runners advancements. It's section infield, stolen bases. It's like section F, I think, is what we're going to here. Section ballpark effect and good and bad stuff for pitchers. So that basically tells you you're going to roll for each pitcher at the beginning of the game, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to find out if they had good stuff, bad stuff, or whatever. And, kind of tells you how to do it. If you're not sure how to do it, Max Cornelius is in the house. Hello, Max. And so we rolled bad stuff for both pitchers. So Jim Palmer was a 1 bad result. And Gary Nolan actually has a double bad result. So his stats are, to roll off of his card is way down. So we'll show you that here. Anyways, Paul Blair's up. We are in the top of the 4th inning, 1 away here. This is where we're at right now. In the top of the 4th inning, we're continuing our game. I recorded some, and then I decided to take a little break. Went over to Al, Red Sox fan, checked out his channel. Of course, everyone that is watching this, if you're watching this on YouTube later, you should definitely go to Al, Red Sox fans. He runs lots of live streams, does a great job of all of his game simulations. Anyways, it's 5-1 Reds going into the top of the 4th. We're going to see if we can change that here. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking there, Max. So Paul Blair against Gary Nolan, he is a righty. So Gary Nolan is the home pitcher, so against righties, only a 2 to 5 will read off of his card. We're going to flip, and we're going to look at the PB number. That is an 11, so it's definitely coming off of Paul Blair's card. We're going to be using the versus right-handed because the pitcher is right-handed. So we look at the random number next. That is a 62. 62 is going to fall in the 53 to 63 category. That is a walk for Paul Blair. Paul Blair has got himself a walk. And let's see what kind of, he's a pretty decent stealer. He's an A-rated stealer. Down 5-1 with 1 away. Bog Powell is up next. Do we try for the steal down 5-1 with 1 away? He's a pretty decent stealer, but you can see you only use his rating some of the times. You use some of the pitcher hold rating, or you use the catcher throw rating, or, I think we haven't tried a steal yet, so we're going to actually try a steal. We've not done that play yet, so we're going to roll a random number. Let's look at the actual rules for getting a steal and see if there's anything fancy-dancy that we need to know about. Stolen base, when a runner attempts to steal second, third, or home, note on any attempted steal where the result says runner holds, normal play continues, and you cannot attempt another steal, blah, blah, blah. We're going to draw a random number and cross-reference it with either the runner, blah, 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 blah. Okay, pretty easy. Taking account the okay, sure. Pretty easy stuff there. All right, so he's a A stealer, Paul Blair. We're going to roll a random number. Here we go. That is a 65. Ooh, that's not going to probably be good. We'll see. 65 is going to fall into the pitcher's hold rating. The pitcher's hold rating is going to be a B. So we're going to look in the pitcher's hold rating B column. They rolled a 65, so 65 says pick off and question mark plus. Well, let's see what that means. Pick off question mark. If the hold rating is not a minus, if the hold rating is a plus, that says pick off plus. If the hold rating is a plus, the runner's picked off. Otherwise, the runner holds. Okay, so there are, if you look at our charts up here, you can notice that Gary Nolan is a B on his hold rating. If you look at, say, Jim Palmer, he's a B minus. So if that comes into play. So he doesn't get the jump, and he's just going to have to wait. So we're going to look at a brand new PB number for Bog Powell. All right, here we go. It is a 7 against the lefty, 2-6. It normally would be 2-7, but because he rolled the bad stats, home pitcher is a 2-6 against lefty, so it's coming off of Bog Powell. Random number is a 45. That is a strikeout against the, 45. 45 against the right-hander. I almost did that wrong. Against a right-handed pitcher is a walk. So back-to-back walks. And going to second, it's going to be Paul Blair. Runners on first and second for, you guessed it, Frank Robinson, the right fielder who made a terrible error in the second inning. If we look back, we had a single by Lee May. When we looked for the error check, it was an error an error check on the right fielder who happened to be Frank Robinson. We did the error check, and it ended up being a two-base error, which got Lee May all the way from first to third on the bad throw in. And so that started the inning off with a runner off at third base. So, all right, so runners at first and second. That brings up Frank Robinson. Can he atone for his error? We're going to look at the PB rating. Right-hander, so 2-5. It's a 7, so it's going off of Frank Robinson's card. And the number is a 45 against the righty. 45. 42-47 is a strikeout. So Gary Nolan with the big strikeout here for the second out of the inning. That brings up Brooks Robinson. Brooks Robinson, he is the third baseman today. He grounded to short in the second inning. We need a PB number. He's a right-hander, so 2-5 again. It'll be off the pitcher's card. It is a 10, so it's off the batter's card. The random number is a 61. That is probably going to be an out. It is an out. He is a RP, so we're going to look at the RP section. That is an FD8. Now we're going to check for error, and 1-20, there is an error in an FD8. FD8, so that center fielder has got an error for the Reds. Let's see what happens here. That was an FD8. We need to check. Cincinnati center fielder is Bobby Tolan. He's got an error rating of E3, so we're going to look at the E3 section of the errors. E3. And we're going to look at the FD8 section. Error 3. Here we go. FD8. FD8. So he drops the fly ball, runners advance 2 bases on the error, and that is going to be interesting. 2 So he got to. So let me ask you a question. It says here, drops a fly ball, runners advance 2 bases. So does that mean everyone, including the batter, gets to advance 2 bases, or is that just anyone else that's on base? Runners advance 2 bases on the E8. I'm not sure. Because he dropped the fly ball, would it leave the runner on first? I'm assuming it would. I probably did the one to Frank Robinson wrong then. All right, so he got an E8 to go to first. E8. Everyone, including, you think it includes the batter. So instead of a single, he would advance 2 bases as well and go to third base? Everyone advances. Max Cornelius says, yeah, that's my opinion as well. Okay. E8, so E8, E8, and then he advances 2 bases, so he goes to third on the air. E8 to third, and then everyone else scores? That doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, I see what you're saying, Al. Al says the batter should be at second. So it's a 2 base error. Yeah. Okay, so E8 goes to second. Frank Robinson, who was on, or I'm sorry, Bog Powell, who was on first, should go to third on the error. And then Paul Blair, who is on second, should come home on the error. All right, and interesting enough, the pitcher's what's this number? The SR number. That's basically how his strength is 15. He lost a couple points. Anytime you get a walk, so that's right. So he should have lost. Let's see here. I keep forgetting to do this. He lost a point when Davey Johnson hit a home run, and he lost a point when he scored a run. So he dropped 2 points there. Then he lost a point when he walked Blair. He lost a point when he walked Bog Powell. So that's 4 points down. And then he won't lose a point when the run comes in because it's not an earned run. So he should be down 4 points. He started with a 15, so he should be at 11. Okay. Batter should be at second. Good point, Al. Good point. So glad you caught that for me. I think I did Frank Robinson's wrong. So we did that earlier in the last episode. I probably did his wrong. But now it makes more sense now that you told me about that. So runners are now at second and third with 2 away. Should have been the end of the inning, actually. But a run has come in to cut the deficit down to 5-2, and the Orioles are coming back. That brings up Elrod Hendricks. Elrod Hendricks. Do they want to intentionally walk him with 2 outs to face off against Davey Johnson, who hit a home run? I doubt it. So they're going to pitch Elrod Hendricks. So he is a lefty, so 2-6. It's an 8, so it's coming off Elrod Hendricks. Random number is 88. That's the highest number you can get. That's definitely an out. Let's find out what kind of out it is. An LP out. So we're going to look at LP. That's an F2. Now we got to check for an error. There is an error, 19 and 20, but nobody's that high. You got to go to pre-war statistics to get errors that high. So the highest ones we actually have are E8 for each team. So if it's over an 8, then we don't have to worry about the error. So no error on the play, but it is a can't remember what he actually hit into, but I think he hit into a fly ball to center field, F8. I think it was an F8. We'll put him down as an F8. Doesn't really matter. He just got out. So they do get 1 run on no hits, 2 walks, and an error cost Cincinnati, and it's now, after 3.5 complete, is now a 5-2 ball game. And Cincinnati now has an error on the board. So 1 error apiece. All right, good. I'm learning good stuff here. So due up, Woody Woodward, who hit a double his first time up against Jim Palmer. We're going to look for PB number. He's a righty. So 2 to 6 will be off of Palmer's card. It is a 4, so it's coming off of Palmer's card. It is a random number of 62 against the right-hander. 62 is an out. That's an RN. RN is F3, and is there an error? No error. So it's an F3 out, and Palmer is starting to settle down after that bad 3rd inning. That brings up Gary Nolan, the pitcher. Are they going to pinch hit for him in the 4th inning? Probably not. He's doing okay. He's got a lot of strength left. He's got 11 numbers left. So Gary Nolan against Jim Palmer. So he is a right-hander. So it's going to be 2 to 6 off of Palmer. It is a 6, so it's off of Palmer. Random number is a 43 against the right-hander. 43 is a walk. He walks the pitcher. And that brings up Pete Rose, who singled in the 1st and walked in the 2nd. Runner on 1st, 1 away for Pete Rose. Rose he's going to bat left-handed, so 4 to 7 will be off of Jim Palmer's card. It is a 4, so it's coming off of Palmer's card. And the number is a 67. That is going to be out. And that's going to be an LN. So we're going to look at LN. That's an F8, simple F8 for the simple out. 2-way here for Bobby Tolan. Fly to center his first time up and singled in the 2nd, scored an RBI and scored a run. So Bobby Tolan, he is a lefty against Jim Palmer, so 4 to 7. You can ignore these numbers on the pitching card because they did roll both pitchers. Jim Palmer rolled a 1 bad result and Gary Nolan rolled a 2 bad result. So his stats are way down. So Bobby Tolan, so he is a lefty. Jim Palmer 4 to 7. It is a CD result. So you're going to find out Bobby Tolan hits LN. So we're going to look at LN number. It is an F8. So we look at Baltimore's center fielder, which is Paul Blair. He's got a CD rating of 5. Go to the CD chart. Outfielder of 5. We roll another random number, which happens to be 88. Wow, that's about as high as you can get. 71 to 88 is going to be fielder makes a running catch of deep fly at the warning track. Runner on 3rd scores. There is no runner on 3rd, so it doesn't matter. But another great play by Paul Blair. That's the 2nd time he's robbed a hit from Cincinnati. And all that for just a simple F8 out. And that is a walk by Jim Palmer, so his stats goes down to a 5. But all in all, that's not bad since he lost like 10 points just in that 2nd inning. So losing only 1 point is not that bad. So no runs on no hits, no errors. After 4 complete, it is Baltimore 2, Cincinnati 5. We're in the 5th inning. That brings up Davey Johnson. Last time up, hit a home run off of Gary Nolan. We're looking at a righty, so 2 to 5 it'll be off of Gary Nolan. It is a 6, so it's coming off of Gary Nolan's card. Random number is a 65, that's an out. He's an RN. That's a GX5, and is there an error? No error. GX5, so it's just going to be a simple ground ball to 3rd, G5. The GX would come into play when you're actually looking at the out chart, and it will adjust whether runners can advance or not. Well, look at that when we have runners on, if you haven't looked at that. Yep, Al Red Sox fan says that was a long out. It was. So Davey Johnson's out. Mark Bellinger, he is a righty, so 2-5. It'll be off of Gary Nolan. It is a 5, so off of Gary Nolan. Random number 67, that's an out. He's an RN. RN is 6GA. And is there an error? No error. So G6. And that brings up Palmer, but Palmer's only got 5 strength left. Can they get him through another inning? Or do they pinch hit for him? That's a tough decision. That is a tough decision. I think they're going to pinch hit for him. I think Palmer's day is going to be. Although, you know, if we look at our, here is 4th inning he did well. He walked somebody but got outs. In 3rd inning he did well. We're only in the 5th inning. Yeah, I guess you know what? They're going to keep him in. They're going to keep him in. Try to get him through at least 5 or 6 innings. So they'll leave Palmer in. So he's a right-hander, so 2-5. It'll come off of Gary Nolan. It is a 9, so it's coming off of Palmer's card. It's a 31 off of Palmer's card. Is going to be a strikeout, 16-75. So it ends the inning. Don't blow your pin in the first game, says Al Red Sox fan. So no runs, no hits, no errors. After 4.5, still 5-2. That brings up Tony Perez. Tony Perez struck out in the first, but then hit a 2 RBI double in the second. Tony Perez versus Jim Palmer. Here we go. And Perez is a righty, so 2-6. It'll be off of Palmer. It is a 9, so it's off of Perez. Random number is 68. 68 is going to be a walk. Look at that. Tony Perez, 68 is a walk. So Tony Perez is aboard with the walk. Let's see. He is a C-plus Steeler. If you look at the C-plus, not a great result. Nope, I think he'll just stay right there. With Johnny Bench due up, Johnny Bench has hit 2 ground balls to shortstop in the 1st and the 2nd inning. Johnny Bench is a righty, so 2-6. Palmer's stats go down, that's right. See, nobody reminded me. He's down to 4 because of the walk. Got to remember that. Johnny Bench. He's a righty, so Palmer righty, 2-6. It'll be off of Palmer's card. It is an 11, so it's coming off of Johnny Bench's card, and it's a 24. That's not good. Usually roll numbers are good for the hitters, and that is a 2B9. 24 or 25 is a 2B9 into left field. 2B9, so we've got to check our base running. 2B9 on the double with the runner on first. So we're going to roll another random number here and get a 53. 53 says we have to check the, it was a 2B9, so we got to check the right fielder, Frank Robinson. He's got a T3 setting. So T3, 51-68. We rolled a 53, and that is going to be a score. So coming all the way around, Tony Perez on the double. So that's going to cost Jim Palmer 2 more, and he's down to 2 as coming home on the play. Tony Perez from Johnny Bench. That's an amber sign. That's an RBI for Johnny Bench. All right. Well, here we go. So Johnny Bench gets on the scoreboard there. That brings up Lee May, who singled in the second, start things off for a big Reds inning, and then struck out in the third. And he is a righty against Jim Palmer. So righty is going to be 2-6. It is a 12. So it's coming off of Lee May, and the number is 72. That is going to be an out. He's an RP. That's a GX1. Hits it back to Palmer. Palmer flips over to first for the out. We do need to check this, though. GX. Oh, wait a minute. He is an RP, yeah. GX1 with runner on second. We do need to check that. GX1 right there, and the runner on its second. So it's a 1-3 put out, and there's a single star, and we look at the single star, and the single star says if the on-base running guy is an A, he can advance from second to third. So on base is Tony Perez. We look at Tony Perez. He is an OBR of C, so he's not quick enough to make it from second to third. So he's going to hold it second on the 1-3 put out. We're going to call this G1 star. And I'm sorry, it was Johnny Bench that's on second. What am I thinking? Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench is a C. Sorry, not Tony Perez. Tony Perez already came in and scored. Johnny Bench is on second with the double. So he's got a C. If he would have had an A, he would have advanced. But nope, not this time. Easy to understand charts, which is nice. It just takes you a second to not memorize them, but kind of understand what they're doing. And so Lee May grounded back to the Palmer. Palmer throws it, holds the runner back at second. Johnny Bench dives back in there, and Lee May running down the line. Palmer flips it over to first base. Bog Powell gets him out. So that is the first out of the inning. That brings up Bernie Carbo, lined to first in the second, and then had a fly looper into center field that Paul Blair made an excellent play on and robbed him of a hit. So he's 0 for 2. Let's look at the PB. He is a lefty, so 4-7. It's a 5, so it's coming off of Jim Palmer's card. Random number is 76. That is going to be an out. What kind of out is it? It's an LP. We're going to look at the LP section. LP is FD8. And let's check for an error. No error. Okay, so FD8. FD8 with a runner on second. I believe that's no, wrong column. So it's going to be this one. So it's an FD8, which means it's a deep ball. So there's 2 stars to go from second to third. And in this case, 2 stars says an A or B runner. Johnny Bench is a C runner. So he still stays at second base on the FD8. So it's an F8 star, and Johnny Bench stays at second, being cautious. That brings up Tommy Helms. Singled in the first, got an RBI, and then came in to score later on. And then in the third inning, he flied out to left. He's a right-hander, so Jim Palmer, 2-6. It'll be off of his card. It is a CD result. So we have a defensive check. We're going to look to see our end. We're going to look at this section. It is an F2. So it's a catcher. So we're going to look at the catcher for Baltimore, who happens to be Elrod Hendricks, and his CD rating is a 1, which is the worst rating. So look at the CD rating of 1, and we look at the catcher. So there's the catcher of 1, so we're just going to roll on this column. We need another random number. It is 28. Look at the 28 for catchers. That's right there. So this says catcher pounces on a dribbler, gets lead runner by a step, others advance 1 base. So he would get out the lead runner, but in this case it doesn't matter because there is 2 away. So we're just going to call this a 2 5 put out. He got the lead runner. He threw out the, didn't matter. He could have thrown it down to first. It didn't matter. But just to be fancy, he threw it to third base. Just to let everyone know he's got a cannon for an arm and he doesn't want anybody running on him. So he's just going to. So we'll bring over a little scorecard here. We'll just call that a 2-5 out. Johnny Bench tagged out at third. So after 5 complete, 5-2 Cincinnati, we're going to the 6th inning. Due up. Heart of the lineup here, or at the top of the lineup actually, is going to be Don Buford. I'll move this chart out of the way. Don Buford's 0 for 2. Ground to first in the first and flied into center field in the fourth. So he is a lefty. So 2-6. It'll be off of Gary Nolan. It is a. I'm going to do it again because I didn't know if it flipped. So we're going to do it one more time. It's a 4. So it is coming off of Gary Nolan. And then the random number is a 65. That is against the lefty is an out. What kind of out is it? It's an LP. So we're going to look at that line. It is a G1A. And we're going to look for error. No error. So it's a G1 back to Gary Nolan, who takes it over to the bag himself just because. Why not? It's a G1. Paul Blair's up. And you can see this game cruises along when you don't have to, like, especially on the computer, it's hard for me to, like, replace players and I'll do all that stuff. But game cruises along when you can, look up the things on the charts real quick and everything. So, anyways, Paul Blair, he's a righty. So Gary Nolan, righty, 2-5. It's coming off of his card. It's a 7. So it's coming off of Paul Blair. Random numbers at 12. Low is good. That's a infield single by Paul Blair. That's what the 1DF stands for. It's an infield single by Paul Blair as he runs down the line and gets in S1 for a single. That's going to drop Gary Nolan by a point. He's down to 10 on the single. All right. Don't do what I did and go for a punt block. Al, Red Sox fan. I was watching his football game earlier, and he was playing the Raiders and the Jets. He was playing as the Raiders. They were down 14-19, which is like 2 minutes left, and he held the Jets, and he was like, oh, do I go for a punt block or do I go for the return? And he went for the punt block, and his guys roughed the punter. It gave the Jets a first down, and then they ran the clock out. I was so disappointed. Al is Mr. Aggressive when he's coaching his teams. He always likes to steal. He always likes to punt block. He likes to go aggressive. No sense hanging back. Anyways, who are we doing? We're doing Bog Powell now? No, we were looking at Paul Blair. He's actually got a pretty good steal chance. An A Raider down 6-2 with 1 out. Do you risk it? Do you risk it? Catcher's throw rating is A+, so wow. It's going to be... at this point, it's too risky a maneuver, so we are just going to let Paul Blair hit. Paul Blair's a righty, so 2-5. It's a 10, so it's coming off of Paul Blair, and the random number is a 31. That's a home run against the right-hander, and Paul Blair goes gone. A 2-run home run for, I'm going to put double explanation points there. And now that'll confuse me. So we're going to put an amber sign and then an explanation point. And coming in, oh, shoot. I'm sorry, that's not Paul Blair. It should have been Bog Powell, 31. That is going to still be a home run, though. Okay, good. It didn't change the result. But Bog Powell hit a home run. Good thing I didn't screw that up. People will be yelling and screaming at me for days. So 2-run home run, and that cuts the Cincinnati lead 5-4. Ooh, and things are getting interesting here in the middle innings. That brings up Frank Robinson, bases empty. He's a righty, and that's going to cost 3 points on Gary Nolan. 1 for the home run hit, and 2 for 1 for Paul Blair and 1 for Bog Powell to come in. So that's 3 off. So he's down to a 7. And we have a ball game, folks, is what Al Red Sox fan says. That's true. We have a ball game. That brings up Frank Robinson, who has a righty. So 2 to 5. It's an 8, so it's coming off of Frank Robinson. And it is a 42. That's a strikeout. Strikeout for Frank Robinson. That brings up Brooks Robinson, 2 away here in the top of the 5th. He is a righty, so 2 to 5. That is I don't think it flipped yet. It is a 7. So it's for Brooks Robinson, and it is a 22. That is going to be a double by Brooks Robinson. And is there an error on the play? No error. Okay, so a double. And that's going to drop his rating down another point. And Gary Nolan's rating has been dropping pretty substantially here in the last couple innings, especially this inning. So runner on second, 2 away for Elrod Hendricks. All right, he is a lefty. So 2 to 6 be off Gary Nolan. It is a 2, so it's coming off of Gary Nolan's card. And that's a 53 against a lefty. 53 is an out. What kind of out is it? He's an LP. There is 2 outs, so it's not going to matter. It's a G4, which ends the inning, unfortunately. So that is 1, 2, 3 hits. 2 runs on 3 hits. And Baltimore climbs back into it, 5-4, going in the bottom of the 6th, but they're going to lose their starting pitcher here, Jim Palmer. Jim Palmer's day is done. He's only down to 2. And if you go, I guess he could, he could stay in until he loses those 2 points, and then you replace him. I guess we'll do that. That's fine. So that brings up Woody Woodward. Woody Woodward actually made a great defensive play in episode number 1 at shortstop. Dived at a ball in the hole and made the play. So Woody Woodward took away a single, or maybe it was a double, I forget, but made a good defensive play. He is hit a double in the 2nd inning and hit to first base in the 4th inning. He's a righty, so 2 to 6, it'll be off of Palmer. It is a 5, so it's off of Palmer's card. And the number is a 32. 32 is going to be a strikeout. So Palmer comes back with the K result. That brings up possibly Gary Nolan, although he's down to 6 points. Do they pinch hit for him? Ooh. Things are getting tight. Do they decide to leave Nolan in for the 7th? Do they pull him? He's got 6 points. Unless he gives up a couple hits and runs, that could last an inning or 2. Actually, you lose 1. Let me look at the rule here just to make sure. You lose 1 starting. Is it starting in the 6th inning, or is it starting in the 7th inning? Every time your pitcher comes out. Let me just look at that rule real quick. I don't know it off the top of my head. Check for errors, infield positioning, yada, yada, yada. Hit run, pitch around, pitcher reduction. So, a starting pitcher will have his SR reduced by 1 for each inning he starts, beginning with the 6th. Okay, so that's important. I just did not mean to do that because I closed every one of my charts. Crap. So actually, Jim Palmer's down to 1 because this is the 6th inning. So you lose a point. So next hit he gives up, he will be gone. I mean, you can keep him in there, but his ratings keep going down and down and down. So he'll never use his own card. And they're already low anyway. So he's only got one more. And I'm an idiot for closing all of my charts. God bless it. So I just have to get him back up. It'll take me just a moment. Please be patient. Please stand by. Baseball, Statis Pro. No. 2000. Sure, that's fine. All right, we'll just bring them up when we need them. That way I don't waste time doing that. Anyways, does Gary Nolan stay in to pitch? He'll lose a point to start the inning. Or do they bring in a new pitcher? I think we're going to look at Cincinnati. I'm going to find out. Let's see. I'm going to look and see what Cincinnati did in the actual game. All right. There it comes. I was going to say, I clicked on it. Why didn't it pop up? So Ty Klein is going to come in to pinch hit. Ty Klein is going to come in to pinch hit. So that is it for Gary Nolan. Ty Klein is coming in the, what is this, the 6th inning? All right, so Ty Klein against Jim Palmer. He is a lefty. Wow. 11 to 88, he's out. So against left-handers, you don't want him, obviously. Wow. Not good. But against righties, he's okay. So he's a lefty. So Jim Palmer's lefty's 4 to 7. Let's see. It is an 11, so it's coming off of Ty Klein. And the random number is a 64. That is going to be an out. And the out is, he's an LN. It's a fly ball to left field, F9. For this, oh, not for him. For him, F9. And that brings up, I can just close his card now. That just brings up Pete Rose. Pete Rose is walked in the second, single in the first to start off the game, and then fly ball to center field in the 4th. So Pete Rose against Jim Palmer. Can they get out? Can they get Palmer out of the 6th inning? Pete Rose is going to bat lefty, so 4 to 7, and it's a 4, so it's coming off of Palmer's card. Random numbers is 62 against the lefty. It's going to be an out, so much more outs if you go off the pitcher card. That is an out, and he is against right-handers is an LN. So we're going to look at that. Is it L3? Is there an error? No error. So Jim Palmer gets out of the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, but his day will be done now. So he hit I think it was an L3. Is that what it was? I think it was an L3. Liner down to first, and that's going to end the 6th inning. And after 6 complete, we have us a ball game. 3 to go. 5-4 Cincinnati. All right. Well, we're going to have to make some substitutions here as Gary Nolan is no longer in the game. Coming in is going to be... Who's going to come in? It's going to be Clay Carroll. Looks like Clay Carroll is going to come in to pitch. All right, and we'll just get rid of Gary Nolan. Put in Clay Carroll. I have to adjust my sheet over here. Clay Carroll is coming in the 7th inning for Cincinnati. And we'll color code this. We'll go with that color. That's fine. And it'll be facing off against Davy Johnson to start the game. Start him off. And we need to roll for his results here. Okay. Status Pro. So I do need the charts. Now I got to start finding them again. So, rules, clarifications, hang on just a few minor seconds as I start looking for the proper charts to bring up. I've got like multiple charts. I'm just trying to find the right proper ones. This might actually, let's see, is this it? Okay, that's the rule book. We'll need that eventually. Is this the charts? No, this is the game you can download. What about this? Is this the charts? Alright, so that's the one we do need for right now. Alright, so we're at Riverfront Stadium, 1970. Here is the pitcher PB adjustment that both Jim Palmer, oh my God, I hate when it does that. It doesn't give me that top bar. So we're going to be rolling on this chart to find out when Clay Carroll comes in, is he going to have a really good day, a not so great, or a really, really good day, a normal day, a bad day, or a really bad day. So we're going to need a random number here. Random number is 15. That could be good. It is good, as he is going to get a +1 to all of his ratings. So instead of 2 to 7 against lefties, he is going to be, instead of 2 to 7, he's going to be 2 to 8. And against righties, he's already 2 to 9. He's going to be 2 to 10. Wow. I believe those are the sequence. I need to double check the sequence, but make sure there's no numbers in between that. See if it shows me anywhere. Might actually be in the rule book. Let's look at the said rule book. Yeah, 2 to 8 goes to 2 to 9 because he goes up a category, and 2 to 9 goes up to 2 to 10. Yep, okay. So Clay Carroll, lots of results coming off of his card as he has a wonderful pitching performance. Guess I could leave this up for now. So that's how you guys do that, right? That's how you guys do that if you haven't seen that yet. And Clay Carroll is a 7. So he's the visitor. He's a 7. I'm just trying to see if they fatigue rating. Okay, so the relief pitchers have their RR reduced by 1 for each inning he starts after the initial inning. Okay, so he doesn't lose 1. Makes sense. He doesn't lose 1 when he comes into the game. All right, so there we go. Just wanted to double check that rule just to make sure. That's all. That's all. All right, so Davy Johnson, home run in the 3rd inning, ground ball to 3rd in the 5th. 5-4 Cincinnati facing off against Clay Carroll, who's having an awesome pitching day. So against the right-hander, that's going to be a 2 to 10 It's coming off of Clay Carroll's, so let's look at, it's a 4. It's coming off of Clay Carroll's, and the random number's a 54. That's going to be an out. That's an RN number. RN of F5. Is there an error? There is no error, so it's an F5, simple F5 put out. Clay Carroll against Mark Bellinger. Righty again. So it was a Z result. A Z result is what we got. So I need the Z charts. Shoot. Sorry, guys. Error chart. I need the Z chart. Where's the Z chart? Can't believe I closed that. That was just dumb. I need to figure out which charts I'm using and put them in one folder, and then I can just double click all of them inside that folder. I've got just too many charts at this point. I've got rules from 2010. I got rules from 2013. I've got version 1, 2, 3, 4 rules. It's just crazy. No, I don't need that. Z chart? Where the hell is the Z chart? Oh my gosh, come on. No. All right, well, I guess we'll use this Z chart because I can't find the other one. All right, so now we need a random number again. So we got a Z chart. Now we go to the random number is at 58. So look at 58. 58. Runner on first. 58. There is no runner on first. Let's just make sure. Let's look at the Z. What we do with the Z. I'm pretty sure you just roll another. Just wanted to make sure there's nothing like if there's nobody on base, it's just an automatic out or something crazy like that. Let's just see what the Z result says. Z. I missed it. Basic plays, advanced. If the PB results Z, consult the unusual play chart to change a new random number from the next fact and apply this number to the chart. This is where strange plays will occur and players will be injured. Yes, we rolled a, what did we roll though? We rolled a 58. 58, there's nobody on base though, so runner on first. See, this looks like an old Z chart because I think there's, see, all the charts are in here in this one format, but they're all like turned sideways and upside down based upon whether you print them out left to right or right to left. So I'm just going to have to look through here to get to the Z chart. We have to rotate it to the clockwise. When Z comes up, draw a random number. Okay, so 58. That's what we rolled. Left fielder hits the wall hard, trying to make the play for a fly ball. And left fielder happens to be for Cincinnati, Bobby Tolan, and his CD rating is a 3. So his CD rating a 3 to 5. It is a simple FD7. We'll check for injury, but we're not going to do that. So it's just a simple F7 play. Yay, F7. All that for an F7. I mean, it'd be easier if I had them all printed out here in front of me. You guys have to understand. But I'm just trying to show you the guys the results. So I have to find them and, do all that stuff. So that would bring up Jim Palmer, but Jim Palmer is no longer in the game. So he's going to be pinch hit for by... Who is going to pinch hit for... It's going to be somebody. Baltimore. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Bring the card up. Let's go. Yeah, he's a pitcher. He's a right-hander, huh? He's a right-hander. Aaron Hendricks, Frank Robinson, Jim Harden. No, Jim Palmer. He's a left-hander. Mark Bellinger's already in the game. All right. Well, I think we're going to bring in... We're going to bring in to face off against Clay Carroll. Going to bring in a new hitter. Thanks, Al, Red Sox fan says I'm doing a great job with this setup. So we're going to insert a new column. There we go. And we're going to bring in Merv Rettenmund. He's coming in the 7th inning to face off against Clay Carroll. All that to get a substitution. Yes. I need to find a better way to do that, but it's not that bad. It's just I have an idea. It's just going to take me a little bit of work to set up. All right, so Merv Rettenmund is coming in against Clay Carroll. So we need a fact number. He's a righty, so 2 to 10. It's a 7, so it's coming off of Clay Carroll. Random number 72, that is an out. He is just going to fly through these innings. And what kind of out is he? He's an RP. That is a G3A. Is there an error? No error. So that's just a G3. G3 and a star to end the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. As Clay Carroll comes in and just dominates. But Jim Palmer's out. Goodbye, Jimmy. And that's going to bring in insert. We are going to insert he's their closer, so we probably don't want to bring him in yet. Okay. I think we're going to do Jim Harden. Jim Harden's going to come in to pitch. He's kind of their long reliever, actually. He's kind of, you know what? Let's see who else we have. We have Jim Palmer. He's a left-hander. He's not their closer. Marciano Lopez might be a good choice. Let's see who's due up. That's the problem. Let's find out who's due up. So we have Toland, Perez, and Bench. They are a switch hitter, a lefty, and then a righty. So a switch hitter, a lefty, and a righty. We're going to bring in Marciano Lopez. Yeah, why not? He's coming into the 7th inning. Let's see. Marciano Lopez. He's coming in the 7th. And he's going to be facing off against Bobby Tolan. So we're going to go with that. So what I tried to do is I match up like the pitchers. So Quick Carroll, when he came in, his first batter he faced us. So I know color coded. So Marciano Lopez, his face batter will be over here, color coded. So it'll be easier for me if I need to double check anything. All right, so Marciano Lopez against Bobby Tolan. Actually, that is a lefty, righty, righty is what's coming up. All right, so now we got to find out if Marciano Lopez. We need to. Shit. There we are. So we got to check out our Riverfront Stadium, 1970. We need a random number for Marciano Lopez. He is a 42. 42 is just normal, so no adjustments. I'm just going to put down none. So we'll just look at his card. Okay. So 2 to 9 against lefties, 2 to 8 against right-handers. Nothing strange or unusual. Might make it a little easier for us. All right, so Bobby Tolan. Let's see, Bobby, what have you done? You fly to center field in the first, you had a single in the second, and you fly to center in the fourth. So 1-4-3 with a single on the day. So he is a lefty, so 2 to 9, it'll be on Lopez. It's an 11, so it's coming off of Bobby Tolan's card. Random number 46 against the lefty. 46 is a deep, deep fly ball. Deep, deep fly balls. So we actually, good thing we have this chart still up. We look at Riverfront Stadium, and we're going to roll on the Riverfront Stadium to find out what kind of deep, deep shot Bobby Tolan hit. So we need another random number. It is 63. Oh, it's a double. Just barely a double. Look at that. 63 is the last number there for a double. So a double by Bobby Tolan and starts off things well. Oops. Starts things off well for the Reds in the bottom of the 7th inning, and that's going to drop. His rating is, he's actually a 6. I think that's the number. So he's down to a 5 with the base hit, or the double by Bobby Tolan. That brings up Tony Perez. He is a righty, so 2 to 8. It's going to be a 10, so it's coming off of Perez's card. And the random number, oh no, that's a 13. That's going to be damage done. Single, 1B7. So now we got to go and find the chart. I got to find the other charts. It's going to take me a minute, but I'm going to have to find the other charts because scrolling that up and down is just not going to help. We need the chart. We need the charts. Base running, is that the same chart? Okay, there we go. So we got the base running chart back. So you had a runner on second. So double to outfield, runner on runner on second. Was it? Wait a minute. What was it? It was a single. And that was off of the batter's card, and it was hit to. Oh my gosh, I'm so terrible at remembering things. 13 against the lefty. 13 is going to be 1B7. Okay, there we go. So it's a single to left, runner on first, and it was a single off the batter's card. Okay, there we go. Now I'm getting somewhere. So Bobby Tolan Bobby Tolan has an OBR of A, so we're going to look at the A results and find out if he goes first to third or not. So 11 to 48. Let's flip up the card. It's going to be a 38. Oh, okay, 48. So first to third. No, that was a double. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. Just ignore me. That was a double. Single. Runner on second, you dummy. Dummy, dummy, dummy. Single to the outfield, runner on second is what we need. Additional modifiers. He hit it to left field, so don't have to worry about that. And we had a 38 result for a runner, 38. So 11 to 58, he is going to score. There we go. All right, so Tony Perez with the single and the amber sign because he got an RBI. And coming second to home, Bobby Tolan and the Big Reds keep on rolling with it. And that's going to drop down our dude by 2 points. One for the hit, one for the run scored. So he's down to a 3. Tony Perez. That brings up Johnny Bench, who 2 ground balls to short and a double in the 5th inning. So runner on first, Tony Perez. Here we go. Tony Perez, Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench is a righty, so 2 to 8. It's a 6, so it's coming off of Lopez's card. The number is a 74. That's going to be an out. Perez against the lefty is going to be an RP. It's a G3A. So now we're going to find the chart, the out chart. Out chart. There we go. Starting to find them a little bit easier now. There we go. So it was a G3A with a runner on first. G3A with a runner on first is this result right here. So it's a 3 unassisted. And G 1 to 2. What is the G? I don't even know what that means. Let's look at that. 3/G. Grounder. Okay. No, it's G 1 to 2. Blah 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 blah. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, we have a grounder. 3GA. Yes, it's a 3GA. 3GA is right there. And the runner goes first to second. Okay. So it's just a grounder to 3 for the out. And going to second on the play is going to be Tony Perez. The only play was at first. Basically. There we go. All right. So 1 away for Lee May. Singled in the second, struck out in the third, ground ball back to the pitcher in the 5th. He is a righty. So 2 to 8 will be off of Lopez. It is a 4, so it's off of Lopez. Random numbers is 16. That's not good. That's going to be a single into center field. Single into center. We have runner on second. So, runner on second again. Runner in second happens to be Tony Perez, which is a C. So we're going to look at this one right there. Single to outfielder, runner on second. Correct? Yes. Additional modifiers. It was hit to 16 against the lefty. It was hit to center field, so OBR plus 1. So does that make him a C? He goes to a D, or does that make him a C? He goes to a B. I think it makes him go to a B, actually. So B rating. Let's find out if he comes home. We need a random number. It's a 61. That is going to be just second to third. Okay, so that's going to be a single. And going to third base on the play. So runners at the corny. The runners are at the corny. How about runners are at the corner? I was looking at his last name, Carbo. That's why I was like, corny. No. That's another hit. That's dropped him down to 2. And we got to check for an error on the play. And no error. Okay. So, got to remember to do that. That brings up Bernie Carbo, who's 0 for 3 on the day. And runners on the corners with one away. They're going to play back and hope for the double play. So we need a random number. Carbo is a lefty, so 2 to 9. That's a 5, so it's coming off of Lopez. Random number is 15. Another, oh no, it's just a ground ball hit G4. It's a G4 with a runner on first and third. That could be interesting. A G4 result with runners on first and second. No, first and third back. And it's a G, just a simple G4. And they get it. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. Wow. And that, my friends, 4-6-3 double play. 2 outs. So 2 hits, 3 hits, 1 run on 3 hits. And that extends the Cincinnati lead 6-4 going into the 8th inning. Wow. They turned 2, says Al, Red Sox fan. They did. 6-4-3 double play right there against the back. If they would have been in, it would have just been a 4-3, and the runner would have went from first to second. The runner can go third to home, but that's the double play ends the inning, so didn't matter if that run scores because it doesn't count. Whew. All right, guys. I am going to take another break here. I don't like the live streams to go really, really, really long. We've been going just over an hour. Got a couple innings left to go. We'll probably be back later for that. I want to get my charts back up and just take a break, get something to drink and all that. So I'll be back on later today. We could check out some more 8th and 9th inning action to see if Baltimore can come back after. Let's bring this over so you guys can see. After 7 complete, 6-4 Cincinnati, 9 hits, 1 error. For Baltimore, 4 hits, 1 error. Due up for Baltimore is going to be the top of the lineup. So they have the 1, 2, 3 hitters for the 8th inning and the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the 9th inning. So we'll see if Baltimore can put some runs on the board. But that big double play there to get out of the 7th inning. Yeah, they got the 1 run. 1, 2, 3 hits and 1 run. So that was pretty good considering 3 hits, you only get 1 run. Good defense there to get out of the inning. Oh, and actually, you know what? Just so everyone knows, when you get a ground ball double play, you actually add 1 back to your pitcher. They get a little bit pumped up because they're like, yeah, we got that double play. So, anyways, we'll see you guys later. Thanks, Al, Red Sox fan, Max Cornelius, for joining me in this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this Statis Pro Baseball. I might go to the dice version. I don't know. I think I told you in the beginning episode. I don't know if I said it in this episode or not. They have you don't need to use the fast action cards. which for me might be easier to use the dice since I'm doing the computer version. Mexican New said he did enjoy it, so that's good. We'll come back for the 8th and ninth innings later, and we'll see if we can pick this up, complete this game, and find out who wins Game 1 of the 1970 World Series. Thanks, guys, for joining me. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Don't forget to check out Al Red Sox Fan and his wonderful channel over there on YouTube as well. All right, guys, take care. See you guys very soon, later today. Bye now.